Hey, I'm Denise Serrano and I'm a mortgage lender in Southern California. I've been in the industry 20 years now. Yeah, a good solid 20 years, going on 21. I was born in Mexico. It's a little town called Jalpa, Zacatecas, and I was born in a house. My mom had my other siblings here in the US, and when she went back to Jalpa, she decided that she wasn't gonna have her kid born in a small little hospital, so she grabbed the doctor and brought him back home and said, I'm gonna deliver at home. So I was born in a house in Jalpa, and I came to the States when I was 3 years old, and I was raised in Paramount. You know, I loved Paramount. So the day my dad told me that we were moving over to a city called Corona in Southern California, I was not very happy. I was 13, I had a good group of friends in Paramount. I went to a school called Clearwater, and then I moved over to Corona and made new friends. But yeah, it was fun. I liked Paramount in the 90s. So if you know anything about Paramount in the 90s, to me, it was a really fun place, but if on the map in the 90s, it was probably not the safest town. We'd hear gunshots, we'd hear, you know, there's gangs around. But to us, that was normal, that was life. No, that's the right answer, correct answer. I wasn't a troublemaker till I was older in my teenage years. I was very studious. I was like top of the class, but I got into some trouble when I went over to Corona. Yeah, when I made new friends. No, I was only in one fight as a kid, but I was in that fight because in Paramount, my brother decided that we were gonna have Friday night fight clubs because that's what you do in the hood. So he decides to do like Friday night fight club with his friends first, and then they got bored. It was all Fridays, all the friends would fight, no gloves. And they said, let's bring in the rest of the kids. So then they'd put my little brother up against like the other kids and they'd fight, and the rules of Fight Club in Paramount was you can't get mad at your friend, that's one thing. You can't get upset, and you can't snitch, so you can't tell your parents. So if that's kind of considered a fight, because I fought with my friend, her name was Monica, and I'd say I did a good job. I did win. But you know, she didn't cry, she was on the floor and she was laughing and cracking up. But yeah, no, I'd say I won, yeah. That was my only fight. And then I fought a boy once, but I mean, that doesn't count. He called me a bad name. Yeah, I don't know, we should put that on camera. We were like 11 and he called me a bad name, and my brother always said, like, don't ever let a boy or a guy disrespect you by calling you like any names. So what I thought that meant was just beat a boy up, you know? So that's what I did, I beat him up, yeah. His name was Billy, and this was my brother's friend. So at the very end, after I was done beating him up, I was like, don't you ever call me that name again. And he was like, okay, but just please don't tell your brother. Don't tell your brother, because he's gonna kick my butt if he finds out that I called you that name. And I didn't tell my brother till we were adults. So I held it. No, I think that was the last time, around those years, right before we moved out of Paramount into Corona, was the last time I saw Billy. He thought it was funny. He was just like, as you should. He says, you should kick his butt. Don't ever let a guy call you any name. So yeah, that's what I learned that was my older brother. Let's see here. I love to do nonprofit work. The nonprofit work, anything I can get involved with, something that fills my heart is we go help families in Mexico, and we build homes for them. So it's a weekend, I get a group together, and it's usually about 40 of us, and we meet a family, usually it's a single mom with some children, and we build a house for them at the end of 3 days. We give them a key, and it's just very heartfelt. So that's one of the things that I absolutely love to do. We also take trips down to Mexico, so I'll go down to orphanages and recently we did a toy drive and we delivered some toys to the children there. We also visited a refugee camp in Mexico just last weekend and delivered some blankets and yeah. The nonprofit they're called Baja Bound, and they are out here in California, but they do a lot of work in Mexico. My daughter, yeah, she's 21, and ever since she was little, I had her at 17, so I was a very young mom, and I knew that she was going to be my motivation in life, and she's the one that I always work for. I make sure, I feel like that's a little choppy, a little emotional. Yeah, so my biggest motivation is my daughter. No, she will not be a mortgage lender. So when she was in 7th grade, they asked her to do a project about what your parent does for a living. And hers was obviously mortgage lender, mom's a mortgage lender, and they had to do a PowerPoint on what that looks like. And I explained to her how you calculate income. It was very simple. At the very end of the PowerPoint, they asked, what did you learn from your parents' profession? And she responded with, at the very end of the PowerPoint, she said, what I learned is that I never want to be a mortgage lender. So no, she does not want to be in real estate. No, she actually does not like math. I love math. She loves anything that has to do with psychology, and so no, she steers away from math. You know, I was presented the opportunity when I was 19 years old. My daughter's father had gone to jail, and I needed something. I needed stable income, and I was offered a loan officer assistant position. So I snatched it right away, took it, and was a loan officer assistant for a good amount of years. Oh, I mean, when I first started, I feared being on the phone with my clients. I was extremely introverted. So just having the thought of sitting in front of someone and explaining an estimate to them was quite challenging. And driving home, I remember the first few months, I would drive home crying and thinking like, this is the hardest job ever. Why? Because I was assistant to a very high producer. I had to handle 40 loans all at once. And I just, and they were down payment assistance programs, so they weren't easy programs to deal with. So at first I did not like it, but I did it for my daughter. So she was my motivation. And I just would drive home crying, thinking like, this is so difficult. And then little by little, I started enjoying it. And then before you knew it, I fell in love with helping people. No, I mean, at 19, you're presented an opportunity to like, hey, you need to work, you need to provide for your daughter, you're a single mom, you need to be, start working. So there was no other option for me. The money was great. And yeah, at 19, I mean, what do you do if you're presented something in real estate and you're told like you're gonna make great money and be able to provide for your daughter? Yeah, no, I fell into an opportunity. As a new loan officer, I would say that the biggest advice would be, other than reading your guidelines, this is basic stuff. I would say get a good community of friends that will help you, and especially in the real estate industry, you want to start connecting with people that are like-minded, that are hustling just like you, that are, that get yourself an accountability partner, to get yourself someone that's already familiar in the business, that loves the business, that can give you advice. So a mentor and an accountability person is the main thing that I would suggest to new aspiring loan officers. In real estate, yes, I do get asked out on dates, and sometimes you have to explain to the realtor or whoever that potential business partner is that this is strictly a business meeting and that's it. There's no dating. We're just going to refer each other clients. That's all. Done. There's been some, in real estate, because we're in sales, we have, they're selling you, right? So I have had some where they continue to ask. I mean, but we're in sales, so you would They don't give up that easy. Most people fall between two different programs. One program is an FHA and the other one is conventional. But outside of that, there's also jumbo loans. There's also stated income loans. So FHA, yes, it's a go-to for a lot of first-time home buyers. My goals, obviously get more clients in homes, but personal I would say take my parents on a family vacation. That's a personal goal. And 3 is I'm excited. I don't know that it's a goal, but it's an accomplishment. My daughter's graduating from college this year, so I'm very excited to see her walk. You know, I offered her a job just the other day. I asked her, hey, I have like 300 business cards. You want to plug them into the CRM? And she actually said yes. So I'm giving her a little job, and she hasn't started yet, but she's supposed to put them all in there. What success means to me is succeeding in having my family goal for my parents, for my parents' retirement. So to me, that would be success, setting my parents up for retirement. I'd say Spain is my favorite, is one of my top 3. You know, and it's a part of Spain because I've been to Barcelona and I've been to Sevilla. I'd say Sevilla to me, it felt warm, felt inviting, felt exciting at the same time, and I love the architecture of Sevilla. And yeah, I'd say Sevilla's my top 3 for sure. My favorite food, I love food. So you're speaking to a foodie. And I love Thai food, I love Mexican food, I love Japanese food, which means sushi and teppanyaki, and those are my top. Peruvian, you can't forget Peruvian food. I love Peruvian food. And then when it's winter, I love ramen, I love pizza, so I love to eat. I'd say I work out just so I can eat. So yes. My workout routine, oh geez. Don't follow my routine because I just want to do legs all day. So legs, I like going outside. I love going outside in nature, so hikes for me. There's the stairs in Fullerton. I like to do those Fullerton stairs. But if I'm at the gym, I'm probably just gonna do like a Stairmaster and then hit some legs, and that's it. And I need friends to come to the gym to push me to do arms. So I need to work on these. No, I think maybe for different age ranges or groups, but for me, I mean, when you look at a woman who has worked hard on her physique, if anything, like your hat goes down to her, and you just think like, wow. You know she's in there, you know she's grinding, and she's got to have some sense of, you know, self-love if she's working that hard to get to where she is. So no, if anything, there's no envy. If anything, it's appreciation that, you know, like a fellow woman is out there kicking some booty in the gym with you. Yeah, there's a lot of those stories. There's stories where a client just decides they're gonna buy a car right before closing, even though you told them not to. I've had, I think one of my favorite stories is my friend who's also a lender. Her client went and purchased a full house of like all furniture for the house. And I think it was like $15,000 of furniture. And it was right before closing. We always check to make sure that you have not opened any new lines of credit. And when come to find out, her client had a new $15,000 debt. They did not qualify anymore. So what she did was she called, I think it was like something, I forgot, Ashley Furniture. Let's just say it's Ashley Furniture. She called Ashley Furniture, begged and pleaded the rep if they can please hold the furniture, not deliver it, do a return, just so they can qualify, and then whatever happens after, you know, I won't tell you what happened after, but let's just say the furniture was returned and the client did qualify. So that's one of my, I'd say it was a horror story at first, but then a like great ending. I think what I'm most proud of is I have a special place for single moms. So for me, when I put a single mom, or I help a single mom get into that home where now she can show her children, like, this is what I did for us, that to me is everything. So yeah, single moms have a special place. I know they're grinding, I know they're working hard, I know they're doing that to do that for their children and for their children's future. So yeah, I love that. Single moms to me, it hit me here.